Welcome to the Overlook Motel, a place where underseen and unappreciated films are given their moment in the spotlight. Directorial collective RKSS made a name for themselves with their feature film debut Turbo Kid, but their sophomore effort, Summer of '84, has gone somewhat overlooked. And that's a shame, seeing as the flick is a suspenseful affair that serves up quality characters, a hefty dose of 80s nostalgia, and nail-biting suspense throughout. On that basis, Summer of '84 seems a very logical selection for the Overlook Motel. Similar to Cloak and Dagger, the film plays on the boy who cried wolf trope. The action gets underway when Davy begins to suspect there may be an active serial killer living next door. His friends initially assume this is just another one of Davy's outrageous conspiracy theories, but Davy's pals eventually start to wonder if their overly imaginative friend might be onto something. Armed with walkie-talkies and their BMX bikes, Davy and his playmates resolve to expose their neighbor and stop the killings before they wind up victims. Like a kissing cousin to Stranger Things, the flick riffs on a bygone cinematic era where unsupervised minors roamed free to hunt for buried treasure, take on the evils of the big city, or fly to outer space. Helicopter parenting effectively killed that trend, but it remains a magical cinematic sweet spot for anyone that grew up on 80s movies. Accordingly, Summer of '84 is sure to appeal to anyone that cut their teeth on films like Explorers, Flight of the Navigator, or The Monster Squad. In watching Summer of '84, it's quite clear that the flick was helmed by people raised on the cinematic efforts of a bygone era. The costuming, hairstyles, set design, and dialogue all invoke the essence of the 80s. Moreover, the flick features bitchin' cover art that looks like it would have been right at home on the shelf of a video rental store circa the mid-80s. Summer of '84, however, is more than just an exercise in nostalgia. The flick also has a great cast of characters. The camaraderie between the leads feels authentic. It reminds me of the dynamic I had with my friends in the 80s and early 90s. Moreover, each of the teenage boys function as more than a mere caricature. We get glimpses into their humanity that make each of them relatable. We come to care about them because we're given reason to invest. In addition to relatable characters, the flick also delivers high levels of suspense. When the youthful protagonists come to suspect the killer is a local lawman that lives nearby, that realization creates an air of paranoia where no one can be trusted, and it fosters a dynamic where the boys have nowhere to turn. Who's going to believe a group of teenagers lobbing accusations at a decorated officer of the law? Rich Sommer is a great choice to play the lawman. He has a trustworthy face and a gentle way about him. Since we don't get definitive answers regarding his intentions until closer to the third act, I found myself going back and forth regarding his guilt or innocence. There's an is he or isn't he dynamic that keeps the viewer on their toes and serves to enhance the palpable sense of tension. Adding to the ever-present dread are a series of close calls and cat-and-mouse chase sequences that see the youngsters running afoul of a killer. An intense and period-appropriate synth score, a series of smartly placed jump scares, and frenetic editing serve to ratchet up the tension, making the viewing experience all the more engrossing. In short, Summer of '84 is a nostalgic throwback to a time when children roamed free with minimal interference from parental figures. The flick serves up high levels of tension and a solid ensemble cast. If you're game to check out Summer of '84, you can stream it on Shudder as of the publication of this post. That's all for this installment of the Overlook Motel. If you want to chat more about underseen and underrated films, feel free to hit me up with your thoughts on Twitter @FunWithHorror.